Hey everybody. So I've been reading Matthew this week, and although I've read this many times before, but there's just been like some revelations the Lord has given me, and that He spoke to me, and that I feel I'm supposed to share with you. So I'm going to read two passages and then go over. There's the three things that the Lord was pointing out to me in these passages. So the first one is Matthew chapter 8, verses 23 to 27. And when he got into the boat, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great storm on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by the waves. But he was asleep. And they went and woke him, saying, Save us, Lord, we are perishing. And he said to them, Why are you afraid, O you of little faith? Then he rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And then the men marveled, saying, What sort of man is this, that even winds and sea obey him? Okay. So there's the first one. And then the second one is in Matthew chapter 14, verse 28 to 31. And Peter answered him, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. He said, Come. So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink. He cried out, Lord, save me. Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? So, okay, so there's like three things in both of these passages that the Lord was speaking to me about. And the first thing is that there's storms. There's always a storm. There's a storm in both of those. And the storms are the storms that we go through in life. Here on earth, before Christ, we have storms, we have troubles, worries, just everyday life things. And there's storms going on around. And, but even after coming to Christ, if you have so, we notice that the storms did not go away, but that they may actually indeed intensified even more. So if anyone ever tells you you're going to come to Christ and the storms are going to pass and like everything's going to be perfect and good, it's a false teaching. Don't believe it and run. But there's storms. So there are storms in life. They're not going to go away. The storms are always going to be there. And the second thing is that that Jesus, first he's in the boat. He's asleep. He knows his Father has got him, that his Father's taking care of him. His Father's not going to, he trusts his Father that he's going to be okay, so he's tired. He's going to take a nap in the boat. But the disciples were not looking at Jesus. And in the second one, Peter started looking at Jesus, but then looked away, and then he started to begin to sink. And I will make a part 2 of this to continue on. Hey everybody. So this is part 2 of Storms, Jesus, and Faith. Check out the first part, is where I read 2 passages from Matthew. And that there's 3 things that the Lord was showing me in these passages that I felt I'm supposed to share with you. So the first thing I was going over is that there's storms in both passages. And the second one that I started to get on, but I didn't get to finish thoroughly, is that in those storms, Jesus, first he's in a boat asleep, so he's like totally not stressing about anything. He knows the Father's got him and that he has complete faith in his Father, that he's going to be alright, nothing's going to happen to him, regardless of this great storm going on around. He's tired, he's taking a nap. And then the second passage, that he's walking on the water, and he's not worried about that storm, and he's not worried about sinking through the water and drowning, because he knows that, hey, my Father's in control, I got this, there's nothing to worry about, my Father is taking care of me. But the other thing I wanted to touch in, the real second thing that he was really showing me, is that the disciples, their eyes were not on Jesus, who was all not worried at all, knew that the Father was in control. Their eyes were not on Jesus, but was on the storm. There's going to be storms in life. But when we start focusing on those storms rather than on Jesus, we're going to either start fearing or we're going to start doubting. In the first one, they feared. And in the second one, Peter doubted. And those are 2 things that can get us, that can be subtle at first and then just grow, and then really start to get our eyes off of Jesus. But every time, even though they saw the storms, their eyes weren't on Jesus, and they started to fear and doubt, even though, because our eyes are to be on Jesus, yes, but Is it likely that we're going to always, always, always have our eyes completely on the whole time and not let fear and doubt come in? Not likely, but I do believe it is possible. If we devote ourselves enough to Jesus, if we have that faith in him, it's possible. But even though they were fearful or they doubted, what did they do? They cried out to Jesus, Lord, help us! And so if we start to fear, if we start to doubt, if those storms are getting too much for us and our eyes are focused on those storms, and we are recognizing that we're focusing on the storms, all we have to do is cry, Lord, help us! And he will come. He will come and he'll either calm that storm or he'll come and he'll pull us out. And that's because that is his faithfulness. And I'll get into the third thing in the third video. Hey everybody, so this is part 3 of Storms, Jesus, and Faith. Go check out the other 2 videos if you can. It's about 2 passages in Matthew that I read, and the 3 things that the Lord was showing me through these passages that I feel I'm supposed to share with you. The first is that there's storms in life. The second is that during those storms, the disciples' eyes were not on Jesus, who had total faith in his Father and knew that he was good no matter what, but their eyes were rather on the storms, and then they started to either fear or they started to doubt. And that they would cause them trouble in that sense, and that every time they cried, Lord, help us, and the Lord came, just as he does today when we start to fear, when we start to doubt, when the storms are taking over us and overwhelming us, we cry out, Lord, help us, and he will come and he will help us because he is a faithful Father. He is a good shepherd. He loves his sheep and he wants to come and help us. He wants to save us. He wants to take care of his children. And when one of his children are in trouble, he will come to help. And that's a promise he made to us, and that's something we could just completely rely on. But in this third thing is that in the first one, he says, why are you afraid, O you of little faith? And then the second one, he said, oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt? So, in both things, he said, oh, you of little faith. Why? Why did you either fear or why did you doubt? And that's, I think, what he asks us when we're having the storms of life. And there's these storms in our life going on. Yes, there are storms in life, but God is in control. That's why he was napping on a boat. God was in control. So, excuse me. So God is in control of the storms. So we really don't have to worry. Yes, is it hard to not worry? Yes, it's hard not to worry. It's not easy at all. But with the grace of God and depending on him, I do believe it is possible to walk in a way where we have no fear, no doubt, no worry. But if we start to, we know that we can call on him and he will help us. But he wants to know why. Why are you afraid? Why do you not trust me? Why did you doubt me? Why do you have this fear? Do you not trust me? And I think that hurts his feelings, and I think sometimes we forget that God actually has feelings. But he does, and I mean, if someone you loved and you feel they loved you but did not trust you, wouldn't that hurt your feelings a little bit? And God wants to know why. Why are you not trusting me, even though there's a storm? Trust in me. Lean on him. Cry out to him. He is faithful. God bless.